What's going on, everybody? We are here in Fort Worth, Texas at yet another tank depot location. We are preparing here for drought season. It's getting real hot. It's summertime and rain is coming less and less and less this time of year. We're here with Rayshawn in Fort Worth. We're going to be talking a little bit about what we do here in Texas in that heat at the tank depot. So, Rayshawn, tell us a little bit about what a drought is and how the tank depot helps people during a drought.
Sounds good. Okay, a drought can be defined as a prolonged period of time without any rainfall that damages crops and negatively affects the water supply in the local area. Here in Tank Depot, we specialize in providing water solutions, i.e. water tanks, rainwater harvesting tanks, anything that you would need in order to harvest and or store larger quantities of water or smaller quantities of water if you wanted to go smaller.
So, Rayshawn, we have seen droughts in the past through here in Texas and California. Are droughts going on today?
Absolutely. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, nearly 40% of the country is currently being affected by drought conditions. If you live here in Texas, you already know that because it's hot. It's ridiculously hot. I don't know whether it's a global warming thing or whatever, but the climate is steadily going up and rain is steadily decreasing. It's really a big deal out in California. I don't know if you've seen all the wildfires and things like that. So people are preparing for these type of events and for them to go through droughts by buying storage tanks and being able to store those larger quantities of water, just to have it as a safeguard in case you need it or in case you want it or you want to live off the grid and
preparing adequately for a drought.
Exactly.
So here in the U.S., what areas are most affected by these droughts?
You're normally going to find it a lot in the southwestern regions as well as Texas, Oklahoma. To be honest with you, these tanks can be used anywhere in the U.S. Whether there's a drought or not, for those areas that are struggling with droughts, definitely recommend coming and checking us out and seeing if we can help solve that issue for you, helping you collect your water and just have a reservation of water for your disposal. Also, even if you're up north, we have stores. We're opening new stores up north, Indiana, for example. In, let's say, Michigan, the water's not that great. You might want to be able to collect some rainwater or store some water or just have some for emergency purposes. Tank Depot is great for that.
So now that we've talked about what drought is and where it's going on, what are some specific products that we can use by the Tank Depot to help our customers out?
I know one of those products is going to be transportation tanks. So when you're dealing with these droughts, one of the major things is going to be to get water from one site to another site to be able to deliver it to people who are in need or to refill tanks that are already, in a system or in place. Those are generally going to be like your horizontal leg tanks, elliptical leg tanks, flat bottom utility tanks, anything that will be able to transport and be portable to move water from one location to the other. Here in Tank Depot Fort Worth specifically, we have them ranging from 35 to 65 gallon small ones that also can be used for like pressure washing applications and things of that nature, up to 2,035 gallons and a bunch of different sizes in between, in both horizontal leg tanks as well as just flat bottom square utility tanks and things of that nature that you can use to get water from point A to point B. We have a variety of different ones depending on your situation and what you need for your particular application. Rainwater collection tanks that are designed for catching rainwater. They come with all the bells and whistles already installed. We have larger water tanks, 10,000, 12,000, whatever you may need, we can get our hands on it. As well as a variety of other different types of tanks, pillow tanks, doorway tanks. You don't want to be able to see it, or if it needs to be stored indoors, they manufacture tanks that can fit through an actual doorway. So just about anything you can think of or anything that you could possibly want for your application, we either got it or can get our hands on it pretty quick.
Our doorway tanks. So tell us a little bit about the importance of those tanks being inside.
They're very convenient. It's I wouldn't quite say it's a matter of importance, more so cosmetic convenience, and or like for example in California, I know a lot of the new builds for homes, those are going to have little compartments built into the walls for you to be able to slide a doorway tank, because wildfires and things like that are very big up there, and a lot of people don't want the eyesore of having a large tank on their property, especially if they have like a smaller yard, or they need their space, they want to maximize space. The doorway tank is perfect for that type of application. Here in Texas, we get a lot of people that buy them for rainwater purposes as well, and just to collect water and store water and have it pushed up against the side of the home or somewhere where it's a little bit more unnoticeable when driving by, and it just looks better. It's curb appeal. One of the best things about them is that because you can get them through doors, you can store them inside, and you don't have to worry about algae growth from UV light penetrating the tanks and things of that nature. So there is some plus side there, but yeah, a lot of times people just like them because they look cool.
So Rayshawn, what are the difference between our stackable water tanks and our cisterns?
Okay, the cisterns are going to be tanks that can be buried underground. They're similar to a septic tank, but the difference between that and a septic is that those are going to be NSF 61 and FDA approved for potable water usage. The stackable are going to be more above ground. Those are going to be more like your IBC totes and things of that nature. We can also get them, not having anything to do with a drought, but being able to use and store oil and stuff like that for lubrication facilities, quickie lube type situations. But for the water storage, we have, like I said, the IBC cage totes, and those are primarily used to be, portable and stackable to kind of maximize the space you have in your yard or wherever it is you're going to be, storing the tanks. Cisterns are also good because it's completely out of sight, out of mind. You set it up, you drop it, set it up, bury it, and you're good to go.
And at this location, we have the stackable water tanks out there right now.
We do. We like to keep them in stock. I know if you've ever been looking for totes, you know that they're kind of hard to come by. But we like to keep them in stock here at our location and at all the Tank Depot locations here around the country, the California stores, all the stores here in Texas, Oklahoma. We try to keep them in stock here, and yes, we do currently have them in stock outside in the yard.
And just like we saw over there in San Antonio with Candy in our last video with the tub tank, how can these pillow and bladder tanks help us not just with a hurricane but with a drought?
Well, with the drought and with hurricane alike, the major draw for these pillow tanks and bladder tanks is that they can easily be inflated and deflated, which means that you can bring them out at your leisure to be able to use and then put away as needed. A lot of people like those because it doesn't have to be a permanent fixture in your yard or wherever you decide to set up the tank. You use it for when you need it, and then once it's done or things come back to normal, your rain season hits, wherever the case may be, you can deflate it, fold it up, put it back for later use.
Last but not least, we have the steel water tanks. Do we have those in stock? Do we order those?
Well, with those particular units, we have specialists that are designed because they're going to have to basically build that unit out for you, make sure you get the right connections and things of that nature. The steel is going to be a little bit more expensive than the plastic, obviously, because it's a steel frame and everything. But because of that, we have specialists that are going to take that extra care to make sure that you get the correct connections, that it gets built out the correct way, and that way you won't have to worry about any issues. And I would definitely recommend going with steel. Or something if you're worried about puncturing the unit and or algae growing on the inside of the unit, and just overall trying to keep the water in it cool or what have you, metal is going to be the way to go. And like I said, we have people or specialists available that are going to build those out and then get you rolling.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We've had lots of fun here, Rayshawn and I, today. Come on over here to Tank Depot of Fort Worth or your local Tank Depot, and we'll get you satisfied with all of your water and tank needs.